Hi, I'm Tomer Itan from Dell Technologies. In this demonstration video, I'm going to show you how to restore VMware virtual machines to a remote site using Dell PowerStore remote copies integration with AppSync. So before we start, what is AppSync? Dell AppSync simplifies, orchestrates, and automates the process of generating and consuming application-consistent copies of production data. AppSync deep application integration coupled with abstraction of underlying Dell storage and replication technologies empowers application owners to satisfy copy demands for data repurposing, operational recovery, and disaster recovery, all from a single user interface. So as you can see, I have a 3-tier application running in my production vCenter on a dedicated production data store running on PowerStore. At the remote site, I have an additional cluster connected to a remote PowerStore cluster. By navigating to PowerStore Manager and selecting the data store, we can see that the volume is being replicated to a remote storage array using PowerStore native replication. Under the volume pair, we can see the source and destination volumes. If we click on the Remote Systems tab, we get a list of the remote arrays configured for replication and their details. By navigating to the Remote PowerStore Manager, we can see that the volume is available at the remote site, but is not mapped to any ESXi host yet. Now, let's see how we can restore the virtual machines using AppSync at the remote site, whether the use case is for protection or test and dev copies. I'm navigating to AppSync user interface and clicking on Settings. Under Storage Systems, we can find the two PowerStore systems, both running version 2.1. Under the vCenter Systems tab, we can find the source and the remote vCenter servers, both running version 7 Update 3. AppSync provides intuitive workflows to set up protection and repurposing jobs called service plans that provides end-to-end automation for all the steps from application discovery to storage mapping, all the way to mounting the copies to the target hosts. If I click on the VMware DR plan I created earlier, we can see its details. The plan is set to create remote copies and to retain 7 copies so that we can go back to each of these points in time if needed. For PowerStore, we use restore from snapshot mechanism to restore the data at the remote site. Next, we have the mount settings. We select the default target host and choose to enable cluster mount to mount the snapshot data stores to all the ESXi hosts in the remote cluster. Now, let's run the workflow. I'm navigating to the Copies tab and selecting my data store, and then I'm checking my source data store and selecting Create Copy with Plan. I'm selecting the VMware DR plan and clicking Next and Finish to start the workflow. For VMware virtualized environments, AppSync offers VM consistent with individual VM recovery copies, so that the VMware admins can protect and restore VMware data stores with VM level granularity as well as the whole data store. If we navigate to the vSphere client, we can see that a snapshot is being created for virtual machine consistency. At this stage, AppSync is waiting for the last changes to synchronize, and then it is going to create a snapshot of the replicated volume at the remote site. From that snapshot, a new read-write volume is being created and mapped to the ESXi hosts at the remote site. If we navigate to the remote vSphere client, we can see that a snapshot volume is being mounted to each ESXi hosts in the cluster. Once the operation is completed, we can register the virtual machines and then power them on and start using them. Dell AppSync deep integration with Dell primary storage, enterprise applications, and VMware environments means that you don't need to reinvent copy management for every I/O stack. Policy-driven service plans in AppSync give clear visibility into SLA requirements and resource utilization, thereby eliminating the friction between application and infrastructure owners. I really hope you find this demo useful and thank you very much for watching.